More than 830,000 refugees are fleeing Ukraine to neighbouring countries as the Russian invasion intensifies. The UN says it could well be Europe's largest refugee crisis this century. Let's go live to Michael Wesley, Deputy Vice-Chancellor International at the University of Melbourne. Professor Wesley, thanks for your time. One thing that so many observers, and not just in this country but right around the world, are noticing, commenting on and responding to is the resilience of the Ukrainian people, led by Zelensky himself, the leader.
Yeah, it's been a remarkably kind of unifying act, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I think that was one thing Vladimir Putin didn't really think through. And it looks like that it's hard to tell at this stage, but if Russia persists in trying to continue to invade Ukraine and occupy the country, it could be a long and protracted conflict. Often in these sorts of conflicts, Kieran, what looks like a massive imbalance of military force can soon turn into an absolute quagmire. I think the great example of that was the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. It looked like it would be a lay down misere for the United States, and certainly the military victory was very swift. But what lay in store for the United States was a material and morale sapping guerrilla conflict that lasted years and years and years, and of course had a terrible human cost. So I think that Putin has bitten off something that he wasn't quite sure how big it was, but it's going to take a lot of chewing.
And the other component to this, and I know quite rightly we talk about the Ukrainian bravery and resilience, but there's a fair bit on show on the Russian side from the opposition, pro-democracy activists, opposition figures in Moscow and elsewhere around Russia, let alone average Russians protesting as well in the face of this dictator.
That's right. I mean, we've seen massive demonstrations against Putin before. I think you could probably say that many of those, if not most of them, that are protesting at the moment are the people who've protested in the past with little effect on Putin's actual power. The interesting thing, I think, to watch over the weeks ahead is how much those protests continue and how much they swell. That is the entire point of sanctions. It is to bring home the folly of this war to the ordinary Russian in the street. And it's going to be very interesting to see to what extent the economic suffering and the economic cost to ordinary Russians causes them to slate home the blame to Putin and his aggressive foreign policy.